Yo, how are you,
Long,
dude?
very good. How are you? Long time no see.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I didn't know if you were going to be technically capable of doing this.
Oh yeah, of course. Of
Dude,
course I am. Of course I am. You get a different
oh,
angle though. You get a different angle. I've got the other stuff taken up right now.
yeah, no, I totally understand that. And in this time in particular, as the world moves forward and doing different things, these interviews, doing Zoom and stuff, has just been really fantastic because you get a chance to see somebody that you're talking to. It's way different than a phoner.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. It's like what I've been saying to everybody. It's important to like keep physical distancing, but social connectivity. I think that's the real part where people are able to stay a little bit more mentally healthy as long as they're able to do things like this. So like this kind of stuff is keeping people entertained and able to have that good thing for you and I, where we get to keep that going. And then for the listeners and the viewers as well.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about a couple different things. First, I want to talk about obviously you're the streaming that you do on Twitch, and at what point did you know, Matt, that you're like, man, there was a place for me in music here on Twitch that I don't think anybody's tapped into before?
So it was a little over 3 years ago that I decided to start streaming on Twitch. And I started off with games initially, just casually streaming here and there, a couple minutes, 30, 60 minutes a day, sometimes not really having the rig figured out or the community figured out. When we were playing San Francisco, I was invited to visit the Twitch HQ. And I visited there, befriended these guys named John and Brandon, who came down to the show. When they came to the show, they brought me a live streaming backpack, identical to the one that we tour with now. And they said, hey, you should try to stream your show with this. So I streamed the show with that. I noticed that our fans loved it. I loved it as well. I kept, every time in between tours, I would go home and stream games a little bit, but not really do the music thing. We went down to a vacation in San Francisco and met up with Brandon and John and their wives. And I said to them how much I love streaming. And it's the greatest thing, but I wish I could do more. Here's why I can't. I need to make sure I practice 1 to 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. So I can't really have as much time to stream games. And Brandon looks at me and says, why don't you stream that? I said, Brandon, no one wants to watch me play the same songs every day and do my vocal exercise and guitar exercise.
Oh yeah, they do.
He's like, I bet you they do. And basically from that moment on, when I switched the channel to that, with majority of me and my practicing, the channel really took off. And as you can see, the people are stuck at home now, even more so, because the infrastructure was already there. The channel was already there. Our Trivium community had always seen me talking about it. And it's really flourished since people have been sort of stuck at home. And my goal with this is just to give people that sense of community and give people a place to be, in a place where they can feel connected to people, not feel lonely during this whole thing. And that's why we had our record come out, and we weren't worried about quote record sales. We said, get our record out there streaming, get it out there free. My channel is free. I just want to give people a place where they can feel like they're connected to other good human beings and be entertained and have fun.
What the Dead Men Say, by the way, that album is super awesome. It's amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, man.
So that makes it probably easier for you guys to pull off something like this global stream event concerts that you're doing coming up this Friday. Explain how that came to be and what the goal is with it.
Yeah, so with that 2.5 year mark of me personally starting to stream on Twitch, we streamed every single show and have streamed every single Trivium show for free from a live streaming backpack with a specific audio feed is run out from our board into that's specifically mixed for Twitch. Stream 5 days a week, up to 6 hours a day. It's about 75% of the time is me playing music for Trivium fans, and then 7 days a week on tour. So what we want to do for this show is we've been streaming our shows for a long time. We did that Chapman Live thing. In 2011, we decided we wanted to do a live DVD that was the opposite of everyone else. And what's that? Have no crowd. So in 2011, we made a crowdless DVD at a time where we didn't have to do that, but we wanted to do something different. So since I've been streaming for this long, and since we've been streaming Trivium stuff, Paulo also streams, Alex also streams, we knew if we were going to do something like a show, we didn't want it to just be something like people have seen. It wasn't just going to be a backpack stream from our practice. It wasn't just going to be me playing on my normal home rig, but instead, we got the same venue that they do WWE NXT in. So we have that venue with their camera crew, with their stream capabilities. We paid for an engineered entirely new staging. We're flying crew in. We're making sure our crew are wearing gloves and masks and are super isolated and away from each other. But we spared no expense. This show is going to be very expensive to pull off, but it's going to be absolutely worth it. It's going to be the craziest light show we ever had, craziest stage show we ever had. We actually hired the stage builder slash light designer slash programmer Sooner Ray. She designed Muse's stuff. She's done basically the biggest people in the world. She's done Childish Gambino, and the list goes on. So in the normal Trivium fashion, we've taken this to the highest level possible, because we have been the band that's been, you know, this, we didn't invent live streaming or like live streaming music, but we've definitely been at the forefront of it, and we've done it a lot for a long time now. So we knew we had to step up to the next level. So this show is going to be next level.
Yeah, and if you want to get tickets, by the way, you can go to live.trivium.org. You can get tickets there, as well as probably from your social media pages. And you know, I think for probably two years or so, Matt, in particular, I've been watching your stream on Twitch, and I've been telling everybody who would listen, I'm like, listen, if you want to see a musician and what their life is like, and the practice and what goes into it, then watch Matt on his channel, because it's just amazing. And how you keep up with all the chat is something. I know you have a bunch of moderators, but man, that chat stream is constant. How do you pick up stuff from that and not just go completely insane?
Luckily, I know I'm a very high anxiety person. I know it don't really seem like it, but the way I quench my high anxiety is by doing as many things as possible. So this like really falls right in line with what would be appropriate for me. I'm playing guitar and singing, and also streaming, and also reading and interacting and talking to people at the same time. Sometimes I'll even be reading an email or typing a text while I'm doing all that as well. I thrive off doing as many things as possible. I don't know, maybe it's an attention deficit thing. I don't know what it is, but I try to use it to my advantage. So I love it. I love it. It's something that, you know, we've seen a lot of musicians jump into it now. For right reasons and wrong reasons. Wrong reasons being, I've had a lot of musicians ask me, hey, what's the most profitable one? I'm like, well, going into Twitch that's not what it's about. It's about connecting with your community. Like, I look at Twitch in the same way as someone would think of something like Instagram or Twitter. It's another way to give back to your fans, another way to stay in touch with your fans. You know, there obviously is a monetized section of Twitch where people can subscribe, but I always tell people, even if you're just following, that's fine. I was like, you don't have to do that. Just hit follow, just be here. So it's been pretty amazing. And it, you know, as everyone jumps into it, my biggest advice is you got to love what you do. You have to love this. And it takes a lot of work. I mean, there was at least the first half a year to full year, I was streaming to basically nobody. And that's fine. As long as if you love what you're doing, and, you know, there's a couple people there to entertain. It's the same philosophy that we have with Trivium, whether it's 5 people or 50,000 people, we're going to give them a great show. So even if it's 5 people or 50,000 people in my stream, I will give them a fantastic show.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch. Now, congratulations, by the way, you just signed a solo deal with Roadrunner.
Thank you.
So was Toss a Coin to Your Witcher, was that a request on the stream, or was that something you're just like, I love The Witcher and I love this song and let's metal it up?
What's crazy is that a lot of the things I've been doing lately is just from being plugged in, from like being connected with my community, with the support structure. So one day I woke up to like hundreds, if not thousands, of messages saying, Matt, is that you singing in The Witcher? And this is when Witcher first came out. I was like, no, but I'll check it out. So I listened to it. Then the Bard song, Toss a Coin to Your Witcher, I was like, I guess how that kind of sounds like my voice. So I said, all right, I'll cover it. And then I covered it, and it really picked up like wildfire from there. And then we decided, let's do an electric version. Let's do a heavy version. So this was recorded quite a while ago, maybe 9 or so months ago. But just with Trivium's release coming out, and we try to really strategically plan it. So with my solo deal with Roadrunner, we'll do things like that. The EP that Jared Dines and I did about 2 years ago is finally going to come out on that. Any little fun projects like that will come out on this. I also randomly did a Tiger King cover that made it to Swedish national news. I covered Toy, who was Portugal's biggest pop star that I didn't know about, that he was Portugal's biggest pop star. So I did a cover of it in Portuguese on my channel, and that made Portuguese national news and national TV. So I just happen to do things that are recommended to me by the living organism that is my community, and sometimes it really works. The composer of Toss a Coin to Your Witcher actually retweeted and reposted my cover as well, and she said she loved it. And I said that anytime you ever you need my voice for something, you need Trivium, that we're in. So hopefully something will come of that.
That's awesome. And, you know, I remember I missed the live stream when you originally was putting that together, like I think in, you know, January, February when The Witcher came out, and beat myself up ever since about that, because I couldn't wait to hear it. And it is amazing. And we're playing a little bit here and there
Awesome.
where
Thank
we
you.
can. So
Appreciate that.
It's been great, man. It's been inspirational to watch you do this because I just think, again, it's great for people who maybe not know what a musician's life is like, and to see you, all the practice and all the work that goes into it is really, really cool. And so I hope everybody gets a chance to watch the global live stream event coming up here. Again, that's live.trivium.org. Pick up your tickets. I'll be watching. And let's see what else. Oh, What the Dead Men Say is still out there, and an amazing album, man. Bleed Into Me, Catastrophist. I mean, what a perfect song for what's going on around the world right now.
It's crazy. I mean, we wrote this album. Some of these songs were started about a year before we actually went in the studio. We kept it very quiet, the fact of recording. And looking back at the lyrics and the titles, this album is the soundtrack to what's happening right now. I mean, you can look at all the lyrics, and they all do apply to every situation that we see happening in the world. And that's a sign of great music. That's a sign of truly great music. And I always push people that wanting to be creative. Write about what you feel. Like, it should always be about what you feel and what means the most to you at your heart. It shouldn't just be about music for people to help people disconnect, where sometimes that's what this is for. Sometimes music can be just something for people to feel good when they're driving, or pump someone up during their normal day, which is great. Like, that's what I want at the service level. But for those who want to dig and want to find how we feel about the world, or how we feel about life, and what we're encouraging as a correct, in at least our opinion, a correct way to be, they can find that if they want to as well. So I think that's so important to have that heart and soul in not just the music, not just the song itself, but the lyrics and the visuals and the art and everything that it is. Just a matter of giving everything into it. It's interesting that as the world has kind of come to the place that it's in now, I find that people are either completely the most freed up schedule they've ever had, or the busiest they've ever been. And I feel like I've been busier than ever in my entire life, which is great. It was a very scary concept to release a record, but we never thought for a second, as soon as we were presented with, do you guys want to delay this record release? We all said no, unanimously. No, we want to get this out. We want to give people something that they can have right now, something that they can enjoy right now as people are unemployed or furloughed or stuck at home working and trying to watch their kids at the same time. We want to give them that enjoyment and that connectivity and that release. So it's strange times, but we're going to keep delivering as this continues and keep giving people the highest quality stuff that we can.
Yeah, well, I mean, I probably would imagine that Trivium would have their album out here in a couple months if we go. You're being pretty prolific, because it seems like the time between the Sin and the Sentence and What the Dead Men Say wasn't very long. I was like, wow, it seemed like a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as it's interesting too, because as I live in this sort of Truman show that is my life, that I'm basically connected like 6 hours a day, we still kept the record quiet. No one knew we were writing. No one knew we were in the studio. No one knew what we were up to. And same thing as we planned this A Lighter Distant Mirror live stream, we didn't really talk about it. We just set everything up quietly in place. The staging has been built. The people have been hired. The jobs have been secured. The precautions, we've had to do very strict contractual waivers for the venue that I'm using. So we do all this stuff. Like, I like to keep, I don't know how I do it. I don't know how we do it, that we're so in the public eye, but we could still be working on things in the background. So with me being mysterious enough, I don't want to give anything away, but people can always count on us being proactive.
All right. Well, we will we'll keep an eye out on you, and appreciate it, man. Have fun on Friday, and tell the rest of the band and the rest of the guys we're thinking about them, and can't wait to see you guys again live on stage in person.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for all the years of support. I remember from the very first time we met you at I can't remember which festival it was, but I remember the first time
it was Mayhem Fest.
Yep. You've been backing us for ages, man. So we truly appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Matt. Have a good one, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bet.